Hi again, everyone. I'm Frank Malico. Welcome to Bay Sunday. We got a terrific show today. A Pulitzer Prize-winning author with a laughing out loud new book. We got 3 local nonprofits doing some great work in our community as well. But first, if you'd like to connect with us or pitch us a show idea, we'd love to hear from you. Go to cbssf.com, click on Connect, scroll down to Bay Sunday. We kick it off with the Medea project using art as social activism. It's creative theater that explores what it's like to be a woman living with AIDS. Pleased to welcome their founder and director, Rhodessa Jones. And I've said it before, but I love your hat.
Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to be here again. Yes.
Lovely to have you. Well, let's talk about HIV because there, you know, all the education, all the information that we have, and there's still a stigma attached, isn't there?
Yes, yes. And I was approached by Dr. Edward Mocktinger, who heads the Women's Health Project at UC Medical Center here in San Francisco. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. And he asked me would I use the methodologies that I use with my theater for incarcerated women, because that's basically what the Medea Project is. It started in the jails here in San Francisco. He said, could you use that methodology, which is what he's talking about, is the storytelling, the opening up, the disclosure of where we have been as women, where we want to go. He said, could you use that with my patients in the clinic to get them to talk more about living with HIV because of, as you described, the social stigma and the shame surrounding having the virus, where we're in a place in history where largely, you know, medical advancement is amazing, but the women, the African-American women and Latino women are the largest growing group, and they suffer immensely because you can't really get well if you're not out even to your family about your condition. And
you need an outlet. You need support.
Yes.
And so these women, along with some of the women, because you started this, as you mentioned, in the jails, to empower the women, to give them some self-esteem.
Yes.
And now you've kind of blended the two. You've got some of those that were incarcerated, that are out, that are helping these women that are HIV positive.
And we're
now
making theater. We just returned from DC, where we did the HIV Hepatitis Forum, which was a large medical forum, but we were presented as performance as medicine, so that the scientists and the doctors and the nurses could all hear us through song and dance talk about what it is to live with the virus. Yes, and I'm going to be doing my new performance, She, at Brava, which is a total circle back to the beginning for me that looks at my work with women living with HIV, incarcerated women, and I'll be at Brava for the month of, largely the month of March.
You're a busy lady.
Yes.
Well, I think we've got a clip. Why don't we take a look at this, and then you can talk us through it.
And this is probably, okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, very good. Take a look. Well, Rhodessa, tell us where this is. And after a performance, are they exhausted, exhilarated, a little bit of everything, I bet, huh?
Oh, I think they're incredibly high. I mean, it's fun thing is to be, this is South Africa, the Naturena prison just outside of Johannesburg, which is my company there. I've been working with them for almost a decade now. And this is the South African prisoners who are bused into a prison in Pretoria, and this was a part of the International Women's Theatre Festival in South Africa. And it was the first time it was ever done in South Africa.
What do these women say to you afterwards? I mean,
well, the South African woman, thank God for Nelson Mandela and the whole history of Nelson being in prison. They are so grateful to touch history in the way that when I come and I say, you know, your lives are important. You need to even be sharing your story for some young woman who's sitting out there in the world, not quite sure which way she's going to go, and we can go on stage and laugh and dance and cry, but at the same time, it's a cautionary tale, so it makes them very, very high, and it also gives them a place where they feel like they can even make a difference from the prison through theater.
And I was going to say, those that were incarcerated that are now here in San Francisco helping some of those that are dealing with HIV, That's got to make them feel good too, right?
Yes, and the women dealing with HIV, there's also very much a cross-section of, some of the women in my group have been in prison. You know, they've been down that road of prostitution, assault, and most of the women who I work with are always dealing with a lack of self-esteem, yeah. So it's, and I say to people, if you can make me laugh, I'll follow you anywhere, and
Absolutely.
I think it works. I think
that's
it works.
the best medicine in the world.
Yes, I think it works, yeah.
If you convince the mind, the body will follow.
Yes.
So you got to start there. Rhodessa, so nice to meet you. All the best.
Yes, yes, and come out and see the pyramids. We're going to be in the city here for February.
Okay.
In February, yes.
Very good. If you'd like more information about Rhodessa's work, you can log on to medeaproject.org. Back, more Base Sunday right after the break. Stay right there.